Hello, and welcome back to the Fae Banner Review, where we talk about new heroes. For real this time, I promise. Today, we have a brand new Three Houses banner featuring mostly new characters. A far departure from our usual lineups, but I'm willing to give it a pass this time. And as per tradition, I will be using this coveted line graph that may or may not be a line graph at the end of the day to rank the brand new Three Houses banner, as well as a circle graph that may or may not be a circle at the end of the day alongside it, updated for the brand new book. Today's rankings will be based on how readable the banner is, and if you want something readable, I don't know, make sure to subscribe to the channel. Thank you, I'd really appreciate it. First up, we have Lysithea, and she's a rearmed unit this time around. Rearmed weapons have been pretty great as of late since they have genuinely decent support and combat effects now, whereas before it was a lot more iffy, and that's no different here. Not that you would know, because I didn't read the weapon yet. Let's see. Lysithea comes with that. I can't read it, I'm sorry, which is a slaying green tome that inflicts -7 speed and res, panic, and discord at the start of the turn and after the unit acts. It grants Spectrum 15 during combat, 25 true damage, 15 true damage reduction, and 50% damage reduction piercing. Lysithea also comes with a PRFA slot in True Genius that deals 1 damage to herself at the start of the turn, grants 6 visible attack and speed, preempt pulse, and 40% first hit damage reduction when initiating combat to herself and allies within 2 spaces at the start of the player phase or enemy phase. She gets an additional Spectrum 9 during combat, true damage based on 80% of X, and first hit true damage reduction based on 40% of X. And X is equal to A plus B, where A is equal to the highest total bonuses among herself and allies within 3 spaces, and B is equal to the highest total penalties among the target and foes within 3 spaces. She gets no follow-up and potent 100% during combat. I'm gonna be honest, I don't know if I really like them removing conditions from weapons and PRF skills. I get the idea would be to cut down on the text bloat, debatably, but it just means units have less counterplay. Even if some of the conditions were kind of non-existent, it's going to be the trend moving forward, and it's just going to make dealing with units even more difficult. That being said, Lysithea is just fine. She hits hard and can take hits, and welcome to the world of bulky nukes, I guess. You could tell she's really strong because she could beat a 7-month-old unit. I'm really spoiled by threat range, and the fact that she could only hit from 2 spaces away isn't really that appealing to me. That said, when she enters combat, she'll probably do really well. And for what it's worth, it's not like you couldn't patch her with insert support and insert support and insert support. That'll make up for the range. Her support isn't even that bad either. Giving out preempt pulse is cool, mid-turn panic and discord is great for keeping penalties active, and the player phase damage reduction could be pretty helpful for nukes in general. Her res doesn't seem that high, so you couldn't double down on her support a bit more, but it's still extra stuff on top of her really solid combat, so why not? I think if you really wanted to use her for combat purposes, she'll put in the work for sure. It's hard to argue against all her true damage and true damage reduction alongside potent follow 100%. Also, because there's no conditions in her kit besides 1 status, all of her effects will always be active, even in the enemy phase. You're gonna need a lot to take her down, or a modern unit that was released in the past month or so. Lysithea also comes with Conjuring Breath, Creation Pulse, and a brand new special in Logic, which is a 5 cooldown special that boosts damage up by 70 to 80% of the unit's attack stat based on whether the foe has a penalty. It grants 40% special damage reduction when initiating combat, and if the foe has a penalty active, it grants a special jump of 1 before the unit's first attack. That's neat, I guess. Logically speaking, you'd probably want to give it to a mage or something. Mostly because it's locked to mages, but still. It's also not locked out of any movement types, which means mage flyers and cavalry can still struggle in combat. Same with Conjuring Breath, which got reprinted really quickly. That said, it's a pretty good B slot, so why not? I could always use more of it. And Creation Pulse is fine. There's so many Pulse C slots that it's just another option worth considering. Extra special jumps are pretty nice to have. And overall, her fodder is pretty good. Can't really complain either when you could fodder and still keep her after the fact. It wouldn't be very logical to do. And other than that, that sure is Lysithea. She seems decent, but I don't think there's anything that impactful here. She hits hard and tanks well, but that's really about it. Although as a rearm, she will have value just for fixing up favorites. That's something, right? Right? Next, there's Ignatz, and they actually made him a 5-star unit. This means he'll be able to pity break you after the banner. Although if Book 9's lineup is anything to go by, it shouldn't be all bad. Just some bad. Well, he's a premium unit, so how bad could it really be? Let's see. Ignatz comes with a Watchful Bow, which is a slaying bow that inflicts -5 attack speed, defense, and res, 10 true damage, and 50% damage reduction piercing on foes within 3 rows and columns of Ignatz. He gets Spectrum 10 during combat, 25 true damage, 15 true damage reduction, and a special jump of 1 before his first attack. Well, he's premium by 2023 standards, but premium nonetheless. I won't say he's unusable. I could, but I won't. It just seems kind of whatever for the most part, but at least he has some stuff to work with. The support in his weapon is okay, and because he's a high-res infantry unit, he can run a bunch of skills that double down on his support. I don't think his combat is going to really contribute much of anything, but at least there's an angle here. Extra true damage, stat swings, and damage reduction piercing isn't a bad start for what it's worth. Maybe with a bit of elbow grease, you can make him contribute to a team, since there's a lot of res-heavy inheritables that he can make use of. And speaking of which, Ignatz also comes with Glacies, perfect attack speed, and speed defense havoc, and that sure is the definition of filler skills for the normal pool. Perfect attack speed is fine, but A slots are pretty competitive at this point. I think they could have at least given him Ice Wall instead of Glacies. I don't even think that would have been too much to ask. They reprinted Curve Shot on Ashe really quickly. Speed defense havoc is still a havoc skill, so at least it's not too bad. The combination is just weird, but it makes enough sense given he is a bow. But yeah, it's not too shabby, but nothing you'd probably want to get pity broken by at least. Not that you get a choice in the matter, but still. And other than that, that sure is Ignatz. He's not amazing, but... And then there's Lorenz, and if you thought Ignatz was debatably okay, then he's gonna look like a top tier unit next to Lorenz. He's the demote unit this time around, and he's a tome cav, which means, well, you know what it means by this point. Let's see. Lorenz comes with Blar Sparrow Plus, which grants Spectrum 5, 10% attack-based true damage, and neutralizes pierceable damage reduction when a special goes off when initiating combat or within 2 spaces of an ally. Well, at least we get 2 copies for free. Blah, blah, blah. Demote is a demote. Something, something, not good. I don't know. There's really only so many ways to say the same thing each banner, but at least he's in the game. If there's any saving grace, he could use a lot of support skills like Devoted Cup, Shackle, and Shift, since he's a blue tome cav, which is pretty nice, actually. He won't be an amazing support, but I really don't see how his combat is salvageable without dedicating so much support to him. But if there's a will, there's a way. In 5 years' time when he's up for a refund. Lorenz also comes with Dragon Fang, Attack Speed Bond, and Attack Speed Far Trace, which is actually really sick. Dragon Fang and Attack Speed Bond is nice bridge fodder to have. Far Trace 3 is not something I ever expected to be in the normal pool though. I guess they did power creep it like crazy, but it is a really nice filler B slot in general. Outsourcing Kanto isn't exactly the easiest thing, so I'll gladly take this. Thank you. Genuinely. This is great. Yep, and other than that, that sure is Lorenz. He's a demo, what else is there to say? Someone out there will probably make him the craziest unit ever, and if you manage to do that, then that's great. You could tell me in the comments. I'll just be here with my super duper strong premium unit that will become useless in a month and end up just as bad as him. There's no winning either way, is there? And finally, we have Alfonse, and that's what they're calling him now. He's a brand new type of hero in Chosen Heroes. And I'm choosing to pretend that this doesn't exist. Chosen Heroes just seem to be emblem rings, but for Arena. They grant the equipped unit extra stats and boost scoring in Arena, on top of granting extra true damage and true damage reduction based on whether the unit has a weapon triangle advantage. Extra merges seem to only contribute to the extra stats, which is fine. It's going to artificially boost Arena scoring, and it seems like they're trying to get people to invest in Arena more, but Arena's a scam. The amount of resources you have to put into it just don't make up for what you get in the end. We'll see if this ends up performing well for them or not, but I can't see the vision at least. Oh yeah, we still have Alfonse to talk about. Let's see. Alfonse comes with Chosen Sword, which is a slaying sword that grants 6 attack and defense, bulwark, and breath to himself and allies within 2 spaces at the start of the player phase or enemy phase. He gets 16 attack, defense, and res during combat, 25 true damage, 15 true damage reduction, another 15 true damage reduction if a foe triggers a special, 50% damage reduction piercing, and if he has more defense than the foe, or if there are 2 or more allies centered on Alfonse, he gets dual phase brave. Alfonse also comes with a Pure special and Ascendant King, which is a 4 cooldown special that boosts his damage dealt by 80% of his defense, plus the defense great talent stat. He gets 40% special damage reduction, Kanto Distance, Distant Counter, he gets Gallop at the start of the turn, he grants +2 attack, defense, and res great talent to himself and allies within 3 rows or columns of him. He sets down Divine Vein Stone during his enemy phase, and after combat, if his special went off, he grants 4 attack, defense, and res great talent to himself and allies within 3 rows and columns of him. He's got so much stuff in this kit for what's basically just infantry brave Alfonse, but probably good this time. Forward movement thanks to Gallop, the great talent stuff, except it's easier to spread out. Fortifications, reopening, we are never leaving those skills behind. Although now he has the brave effect to help with his damage output as opposed to relying on one-shotting units. That in his support is a lot better thanks to the bulwark and breath he gives out. He seems pretty solid as a mixed phase unit for the most part. The nice thing about him being a usable unit is that you could use him with Alphador instead of Emblem Sigurd, who was pretty much just there for Gallop anyway. Now you can pass around even more support alongside him and have a competent combat unit to boot. If nothing else, he'll have a place somewhere in the game. probably in the reserves if he ends up being a flop. Alfonse also comes with Warrior's Blow, Pre-Employ, and a brand new B slot in Rejuvenate, which inflicts -4 attack defense and res on the foe during combat. Guard grants 20% defense-based true damage and true damage reduction, null counter disrupts, and restores 7 HP to the unit after combat. It seems pretty cool, yeah. It's just another B-slot option for slower, tankier sword, lance, and axe infantry, but I'm not sure if it's worth taking over patience for many units. It's definitely a case-by-case basis, but it's far from bad at least. The restrictions could have been a bit better though. Warrior's Blow is a great A slot, and Pre-Employ is still perfectly fine. His inheritance overall is pretty nice. And it's free. It was nice knowing you for less than a day. And other than that, that sure is Alphonse. The unit gimmick was elaborated more in the channel, but honestly, there weren't really that many announcements. Besides some miscellaneous updates like binding worlds, forging bond stuff, and some rewards, there really wasn't much else worth going over. Except for Raphael, who is our Grand Hero battle unit. He comes with Melee Axe Plus, and we don't know what it does, as well as Ignatz, Bold Fighter, and Assault Troop, aka the Summer Edelgard kit on a freebie. They really spoil us, don't they?
Yeah!
And now that we've gone over the brand new 3 houses units, I think it's time we rank the banner on the line graph that may or may not be a line graph at the end of the day. And would you look at that? The brand new 3 houses banner has earned a 6 out of 10 on the line graph. And based on my understanding of the banner, I believe it would be best fit somewhere around this area of the circle graph. There are some decent things on the banner, but overall it's nothing you'd feel bad about missing, especially since Alphonse is a free unit. They'll power creep the fodder in the month anyway, and you may be wondering to yourself, do you have any 3 helps for this banner? And boy howdy, I sure do. I hope you don't spend orbs on it. The banner isn't all that bad for the most part, but there's really nothing you're going to miss out on by skipping it. Lysithea is worth highlighting thanks to her arcane, and she is a really strong nuke because of all the damage reduction stuff she has in her kit. I don't think she'll be doing many outstanding things, but she's far from bad. She'll be worth grabbing on the basis of updating favorites, but that's about it. Alphonse is definitely the strongest unit here, but he's also free. You can summon for extra fodder, or if you like him, for merging of course, but there's really no incentive to go grab more of him. Not even for the new arena gimmick. I would not advise it. And then Ignatz and Lorenz are definitely there. It's very much a thing of you'll only pull if you like them. This banner is extremely skippable. If you had to put your orbs towards anything, it would have to be the Choose Your Legends banner. The rates on that banner are amazing, and there's way more worthwhile fodder and units on the banner. Other than that, we do have a Christmas banner coming up in a couple weeks if you want to wait and see what that has. But if neither of those things interest you, then I would just save the orbs. This banner really isn't worth spending on TBH, 2BH, to be quite H. You know, with Alphonse being red, that means there's still a blue and green slot they have to fill out at the end of the month, but it's probably not going to be anything crazy.